you started doing content while being in, which you're doing class at this time. You're actually a teacher, right?
Yes.
And then what made you go into, I want to do content at the same time?
So,
especially in the military, which is, you're like, oh, hopefully I don't get in trouble. But was that the anonymity? That's probably helped with the ideas like, well, I won't show my face.
Well, originally I actually did a lot of sketch comedy.
Yes, my guy.
And
does not pay money because it takes so much work.
Yeah, but I did get an Article 15 for it, but I ran naked across a training area for a flash flood joke. Worth it. Fucking hilarious. But yeah, I got an Article 15.
14 or 7?
This was, I got 45. I got
45 days?
I got a field grade.
45 with restriction? Did you get demoted?
No, I didn't get demoted. They suspended everything else. I just got 45 days extra duty. And, it was technically restriction, but I lived off post, so I was able to go to my house.
Bro, 45's wild.
Yeah.
If you have like a 7 and a 14.
Yep. There's so summarized, company grade, and then field grade is 45.
You got a field grade?
I got a field grade.
Bro, so during the surge, I had a bunch of people got 45s for popping hot for piss tests. Mm-hmm. Guess what? They would just get a field grade. They stay in.
Oh, yeah.
Because this is wartime. They're like, we still need you to go fight.
Dude, when I first came in 2009, I knew a 9-year PFC. They just kept demoting him, and they wouldn't let him leave because, like, it was wartime. Like, it was the way it was.
Dude, that's wild. You got a 45. But go on.
Yeah. So when I was in UAE for my second deployment, I was married at that point in time to my ex-wife. I wish her all the best in her future endeavors. I really do. We were not right for each other. She made some very careless. You know what? Fuck it. I'll just go ahead and say it. She found a new boyfriend while I was deployed.
Yeah. She knows Jody.
Yeah. Of course. Well, it was her ex at one point in time, so I don't know, anyways, so whatever. And so right around that time, she left. This was 10 months into my deployment. And I was like, okay. And I told her when we first got together, I was like, you ever say you're done with me? Like, there's no turning back. Like, that's it. We're walking away. I wish you the best. I'll do, I'll change everything over to my name. I'll give you what you want, whatever. And so when I got home, she had actually taken like most of my stuff. She took my truck, which I was like, well, if you want the truck here. And she's like, I can't afford the payment. So why the fuck did you take it? So she took it to Colorado, cleared out my house. But I remember, anyways, we were getting home and there was a little part of me that was like, maybe she'll be there waiting, maybe. And I remember walking into Reinhardt Gym on Fort Sill, because that's where I was stationed at, and I walked in and they had like fucking Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue playing, and we're all marching together, and that fucking confetti, and there's families cheering, and I was like, cool. Still kind of hoping against odds. And I remember like they called dismissed and everyone ran to their families. I looked around, no one there for me. I was like, yeah, that's what I figured. So I grabbed my bag and I was actually going to walk home, and I lived like 8 miles away. And I was just like, for me, I didn't want to bother anyone else. I was like, I didn't want to be like, hey man, can I get a ride home? This is not the person that I was. And my buddy, James Dean McCraw, he's out now. He's a great guy. One of the best friends I have. He was like, hey man, come with me. You can borrow my second car. Get yourself home. And I was like, you don't have to do that, man. You're here with your family. And his wife insisted. She was like, no, you
stop being a stubborn dick.
Yeah. Like, come on.
Stop being a stubborn dick.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of you out there. Don't be stubborn.
Oh, man.
Reach a hand out.
And it was a 2010 Kia Forte, burgundy interior. That was his big thing about it. And so I took this car and I drove back to my house, which was out on 79th in Lawton, Oklahoma. And I remember walking into my house. Power was shut off. Gas was shut off. Heat was shut off. It was 54 degrees inside my house because it was November in Oklahoma. And I was like...
No power?
Yeah, I had nothing. Everything was turned off. And I was like... Yeah. And I remember I hit a fucking low spot, man. I was not doing okay. Like that was hard. That was painful. And so I remember like I got everything turned back on, and a couple days later I made like my first funny video. Habitual Linecrosser didn't even exist back then.
Yeah.
And I made my first funny video, and I did it kind of selfishly. I wanted people to tell me I was funny. I wanted them to tell me I was great. Like I needed that pick me up. And so I made one, and I got some, good feedback from it. And then I made another one. And I don't even remember what they all were. And after a while, after a couple of weeks, I realized kind of what I was doing. And like what the happiness I was getting out of it was that no one else felt like I did when I stepped off that plane. Like I didn't want anyone else to feel like just completely alone and forgotten, which is pretty much how I felt. I felt fucking awful. And And so I continued kind of off and on making videos while I was still there. And then I moved to White Sands. And I mean, before that, I was making, I tried a bunch of different names. There was one, I named myself Big Bob's Military Surplus, where I put on like a Southern draw and I was trying to sell military surplus and shit. Dude, I did a bunch of different ones. And then I remember
many failures before.
Yeah, many failures.
The one that hit.
And right at that point in time, TikTok was becoming a big thing.
Yep.
And I was at White Sands and I was living by myself. And this girl that I worked with, she was like, "You should get on TikTok. You're funny." You know, like you know, she's seen some other funny videos. And I was like, "All right, you know, I'll try it out, whatever." You know, finally I downloaded TikTok and I was like, "Oh, what kind of name?" And the name Habitual Linecrosser comes from my commander when I was a battery trainer. I got my Article 15 and Captain William Abbott, one of the best commanders I've ever had. Great dude. And he pulled me aside and he's like, "You know, Sergeant Long, you should have been in a lot of trouble since you were my battery trainer." He's like, "You are a habitual line crosser." And I was like, And he's like, "You know why you're not?" I was like, "Why is that?" And he goes, "Because you're really good at what you do." Because like my crews were trained, they were proficient, they did exactly what they were supposed to do. And I was like, "Thanks for playing my strengths." He ran blocker for me a lot. I bent a lot of rules, but it was all about like getting the job done. Like
that's good leadership.
Yeah, he ran blocker for me as much as he could until I ran naked, and you know the battalion got a hold of it. He knew I knew that he couldn't run blocker. He knew that I did that. He wasn't mad. And I knew, like, he's like, you know, when you go to your Article 15 hearing, he's like, "There's no friends in there." I was like, "Sir, I'm not turning you in. Like, no. You ran blocker for me way too much." And he was, you know, they're reading me the riot act, and I was like, "Hey, you know, I acted alone. My chain of command didn't know about this. No, I'm not throwing them under the fucking bus. They had my back. Fuck you. I ain't doing that."
That's good leadership, and then a good person at your end because you had their back because they've always had yours. There wasn't like I'm going to cave now. It's like, no, I did that. My wiener was out because I chose my wiener to be out.
Yeah. And they, so I got over to White Sands and I started doing the habitual line crosser thing. And originally I was just sketch comedy, and it was hit or miss. Sometimes sketch comedy would do really well, and I would explode, and other times it just wouldn't. And it just would flop. And I was like, I don't know, you know, and I always did the whole I'm shadow banned thing, right? Which isn't really a shadow ban thing. Usually it's like the first, it's a litmus test because they show it to like, the way most algorithms work is they'll show it to like a control group. And if they don't interact with it, like it, share it, whatever, it won't get pushed out to more people. That's the way the algorithm works. It's a dopamine response ultimately. And, around that time, the green screen eyes and mouth filter was getting real big. And I remember I was watching the news and I was like, I can make fun of this. You know, I used to growing up watching Jay Leno, who was like the king of fucking satirical news comedy. I mean, he was a champion. And I was like, I can make fun of this. And at that point in time, I didn't have like characters in my head. I didn't have, you know, like lore in my head. I was just like, I'm going to make fun of the news. And I remember I made fun of the news and then it just continued and it exploded. And I was like, okay, let's keep going. So I did it again and I did it again and I did it again. And then I was like, okay, well, how do I make it better? And at first I was only doing accents for white nations. Like I would do a German accent, I would do a British accent.
You're like,
yeah, I was like, I don't want to do like Asia or anything else like that. And then somebody, I can't remember their name, but they commented, they're like, you know, the fact that you're only doing white nations and not doing everyone's accent is inherently racist. And I was like, you fucking right.
It is.
You are absolutely right.
It sucks that it's the fear of, well, I don't want repercussions or pushback because I did a Chinese accent or Japanese accent, because it is racist not to do that. Because now you're like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't. It's like treating Raiden or someone different because autism. It's like, I can't make fun of that because they're a little bit different. Instead, it's peak South Park. And everything's on the table. And I think that's more inclusive where you're making fun of everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Like, everyone. Oh, that is a funny looking. He sounded very like my aunt. You're like, yes. Let's make all the accents now.
And I, with like the planes, like I'm an air defender. So like my job is Patriot. And people are like, you don't feature Patriot that much. And it's like, it's because it's not used that much. But you know what? People always like planes.
Yeah.
And I did not know the can of worms that I was open with the plane community, because now that I've gotten into plane people, they each have their favorite plane and they know everything about that plane. And everyone wants to see their favorite plane featured and featured in the right way. And I'm like, do you have any idea how hard it is to skirt that line and deliver you a character that is perfect and spot on for what you want? Like, that is so difficult to do.
Oh, I love it. You're crushing it, though. I was so honored when you asked me to do one of the Asian accents. I was
Oh,
like,
dude.
yes, 100%. You always let me know when you need an Asian accent and what to say or guidelines, and I'll make it up. Because it is the perfect amount of comedy that is just... I'll make fun of everyone in each country. I'll also fuck America at the end of the day. But here, let's have fun.
I mean, I even make fun of the U.S. when we make dumb decisions.
Exactly.
And I mean, this is the thing. At first, I want to make everybody happy, but I realized like there's the political spectrum, which is what I consider. And no matter what I say, people who are on the far side of the left and right are always going to say that I'm supporting their opposition. It doesn't matter what I say. Like when I made fun of anything that fucking, Weekend at Bernie's, our previous president, did, they would fucking, oh, you're conservative, you love Trump, blah, blah, blah. And then I'll say something that's like, I really absolutely disagree with this opinion and the way they're treating this situation in Ukraine. Oh, you fucking liberal. And it's like, dude, like last night I said something about, like I was making fun of a Russian making, a Russian post. And someone tagged unsubscribe. They're like, I bet unsubscribe would disagree with your opinion. I was like, it's crazy when you realize that people can have different opinion about geopolitics and still get along with each other. It's a nuts idea.
Wild concept.
Yeah.
We don't agree on everything. That would actually be an echo chamber, and I fucking shoot myself if I was part of that.
Yeah.
I don't want to be friends with everyone that hype men, yes men, or just in a solid group that's just like, yeah. That's Reddit. I don't need Reddit.
Yeah.
I need outside of Reddit. I want difference of opinions. I want pushback. That's how I grow as a human.
Exactly. I want someone to tell me I'm fucking wrong. I want someone to challenge my opinion. But when you challenge my opinion, and I think you guys are all the same way, challenge my opinion, that's fine. Do it in a way that is logical. Don't just be like, you're a fucking homosexual. Like, well, that doesn't help me. Like when someone comments like, these videos suck, that doesn't help me. Why do they suck? Tell me what you need.
Dog, you just called me gay. I need to know why I'm gay. It's like, well, dude, I will say we'll wrap this up and we'll do an after show after we're going to film on. So we're right on time. We're tracking. I was like, okay, cool. But dude, this was an absolute pleasure. We might kick off and get a little more in because I still have a couple more questions down the road. But
okay.
Ethan, thank you so fucking much for your time, brother. This is the shit I love. This is why this started. I want to know my friends' stories. I want to know more about them, where they came from, what drives them. And I think you just crushed this one, brother. So thank you so damn much, man. No, thank you, bro. This is your time. I appreciate you, my friend.
I appreciate you having me here, man. And I'm glad that I got to help out with the set. And it's so what's the word I'm looking for? Invigorating to watch my friends succeed and do great things. So like to be a part of it is always humbling.
Well, thank you. And I am truly appreciative of it. We have an unsub that might be out by the time this comes out, or we have kind of consensual. Go check out any of those. But where do we find you?
You'll find me at habituallinecrosser.com. That has a link to all of my socials. And if you click on the top link, which should be the pepperbox.tv, you'll also get to see all of my original content. You'll get to see the 3 exclusive shows I'm on, which is HLC State of Mind, which is all the characters you guys all know and love, but history focused. You'll get Kind of Consensual, which is me, Eli, Rich, and Nick, all on a podcast there where we tell your military stories. And then, of course, Habitually Fat, where me and the Fat Electrician get to go travel around the country to different museums.
Boom! Thank you, guys. Enjoy the after show. We fucking love you. Kisses.